Joined across the table with Stephen Peak, and on the other side of the cement is one producer, Matt Childress. Hope everybody's having a great hump day. It's lunchtime. Hit up Salsaritas for lunch. Why not? Check them out. You've been thinking about it for a long time. You haven't had lunch yet. One of their three locations, Middletown, St. Matthews, or if you're out in Bullitt County or driving on I-65, pull over in Shepherdsville and check out their location there. Download the app, but it's lunchtime. If somebody wants to bring some lunch over by the studio, that'd be cool. I'd be down for that. Stephen Peak, how are you doing today, buddy?
Doing good. Watched a lot of good basketball last night.
It kind of felt like, it's the beginning of the year, but it kind of felt like January conference basketball, and we get that Tuesday and Wednesday. Sometimes you get some big Mondays. Who plays on Thursdays? Is that the Big East?
The Missouri Valley plays a little bit on Thursdays.
Is that their night?
Yeah. So I think the Big East does do some Thursday games as well.
But, I was right in, the thick of it. A lot of great games, a lot of insane finishes. And I couldn't even stay up for the end of the 9 o'clock games. I was asleep before that and could not believe some of the final scores with the way some of those games ended last night. But it was good to have college basketball on. Producer Matt Childress, how are you?
I'm good. Had to take a little thought-provoking moment to myself about where the direction of Louisville basketball is going after last night. But, we took some time and we weighed all of the possible outcomes of the season, and we're good. We're ready to go. I'm good today. I've calmed down a little bit after what I had to unfortunately witness last night, but I'm doing good.
All right, so you're doing a little bit better. Last night was tough, though.
It was tough.
UL fans were pretty worked up, and understandably so. Great first half, and then probably as bad as the second half you've had in the Pat Kelsey era, maybe. Certainly in the conversation, I would have to say. Duke, at one point, down 13. I think they end up winning by 13, so they put their thing down, flip it, and reverse it, and get a big conference win. I was also wrong. You all do play at Cameron Indoor. I thought you all only played Duke once this year, but you go back there, you play them again in about 2 or 3 weeks, I think.
Which is ridiculous. I don't understand why you would schedule the same team, especially being Duke, twice in the same month.
I feel the same way about Green Bay's conference or divisional opponents. They're playing the Bears for the third time in 30 days. Why did they play the Bears twice in 3 weeks in the regular season to begin with? You can spread those things out, and same with conference schedules in basketball as well. I've thought that with UK's schedule. Usually it seems like they'll play Tennessee sometimes twice in like a 4-week stretch or a 3-week stretch, and then Florida sometimes it's spaced out from the start of conference play to the end of conference play. But I think they should balance them out as much as you can. But, wild night of college basketball. Mikel Brown didn't play, but he was on the bench, standing, hooting and hollering. People had takes on that. A lot of takes on a lot of things. Will Stein continues to cook in the transfer portal. UK football, Peak, it is a bit of a island, a little bit of a paradise away from Kentucky basketball.
Yeah.
It's just fun to be able to keep up with that. Oh, cool, another commit, and then gets you a little away from just all the draining talk that has been UK basketball this season, unfortunately. But we want to hear from you on the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. Where are we going to start the show?
I'm cool with recapping some of the games from last night.
Yeah.
There was a moment in the Kansas TCU game. That was one of the late ones. And I think TCU was up by double digits, and I was getting ready to turn off the TV, go to bed, and assume that Kentucky was still going to have a 7-game lead in the all-time win standings. And I just said, well, let me just see what happens here these next couple possessions. Kansas was down by 9 points with 1:14 to play in the game.
74 seconds, 9 points.
And chaos ensues after that. I was obviously rooting for TCU. I know that the all-time wins thing isn't like the most important deal to people, but I do like saying that Kentucky is the winningest program of all time.
Kind of the whole point of the sport, right?
To win games.
To win more than anybody else.
To win the game. Yeah.
I also like it. It's not, I'd much rather, it doesn't.
I'd rather win a national
keep me warm at night.
than,
but yeah, exactly. It can only take you so far, but it is a nice little thing.
Yeah, and so I'm pulling for TCU, and they just completely crumbled at the end. I have to see how many turnovers they had in that final 3-minute stretch, but Kansas brought a little pressure in the backcourt, and TCU just choked the game away. Even when you thought one of their players, I have no idea how to pronounce his name, either name, so I'm just going to – a TCU player hit a three-pointer to put it back up to 9 with 1:14. Jamari McDowell answers with a 25-foot three, cuts it to 6, and then they start missing TCU starts missing free throws. Kansas hits another 3. Then they get fouled. They make the free throw. It's 85-82. Now, I still think TCU is going to win the game. They make 2 free throws. It's 12 seconds to play. They're up by 5. With 5 seconds left, Badunga gets a tip in, and it's just like okay, it's 5 seconds left. The game's still over.
TCU is up by 5 points with 6 seconds to go.
Yeah, the game is over.
I mean, that's insane.
And, of course, on the ensuing inbounds, I thought it went off Lori Badunga's hand. He kind of knocked it out of bounds. They go to review. TCU uses their final timeout, final challenge. Well, they don't give TCU the ball. It goes to Kansas, and they foul Darren Peterson on a 3-pointer. I couldn't believe it, and I knew he was going to make all 3 of them with 1 second to go. It goes to overtime, and it was only going to go one way after that. Kansas gets the 104-100 win, but that probably wasn't even the craziest game that happened last night. That Auburn ending was, I have looked at every angle possible, even like the local TV angles. And on one angle, it looks like he's got the shot off. And if you didn't see it, they're down by 2 with what, 0.6 seconds, 0.7?
Yeah, I think it was 0.5 or 0.6. I don't think it was 0.7, but I think at most 0.6.
Okay, so it could be 6, could be
6-7.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. So they inbound the ball just inside of half court. Who was it that hit the shot? I don't have to look that up, but
I think it was Murphy, the transfer from Mississippi State.
It was Murphy, and he splashes the 3. Place is going nuts, and upon review, and that had to be one of the toughest reviews for the officials to make there, because again, I've looked at all of the angles, and on one angle it looks like he might have got it off, and on several other angles it looks like it might still be on the fingertips with the red lights on the backboard. Did you see it yet, TJ?
I've seen it. I guess you've probably seen more angles than I have, but it's almost like going into like the Kennedy assassination. It's like, if you look at this one, well, this clock says that. If you're looking over there, it's potentially that. I don't think he got it off, right? There is that one side angle, like where the players coming in and out of the tunnel, where they have a smaller scoreboard, and that one, again, you got the camera footage of it. It is like 0.1, and the ball is out of the dude's hand.
It looks like it.
However, you have so many other with the actual backboard and the scoreboard, and you have the light on, and you just see like the smallest little blur of his finger still on the orange, in which case it's not out of his hand. So
it was called good on the floor, right?
It was. Yeah, I think you're right that it was called good on the floor. I was thinking the opposite for a second, but you're right, and then they overturned it.
Yes.
And everybody went bananas. Did you see the fallout?
I saw Stephen Pearl running over to the officials as they were leaving the floor, and he's holding up the iPad, showing them, he got it off. And I saw the one fan who threw his drink over his shoulder as the referees are coming off the floor. Did you see that one?
Yeah, the old man who did that. I was going to bring that up to you. There's this old guy, and the refs are being escorted with police off the court. And this is a guy that's got floor seats, so he's probably a big wig at Auburn in some capacity. And the refs walk by him. He's got his back to him. And I wonder where he learned this move. He's probably been pulling this move off for like 50 years. Probably learned it back in like the 60s. Thought it was the coolest thing. As they walk behind him, he takes his drink and just throws it over his back shoulder with the idea or the plan that it will make the officials soaked in his drink. He misses completely.
Yeah.
Nowhere close to him. And if I was Auburn, I would ban that dude. I mean, at least for the rest of the season.
As someone who knows something about being banned from Auburn, they do that.
Yeah, you know what? See if they put their money where their mouth is on something like this.
Right.
Did you see this, producer Matt?
I did, actually.
What did you make? Did you think the shot was good? No good. They got it right.
I think it was no good. I don't think it counted. I feel like we had, like you said, we had more angles that like supported that case, in my opinion. I can't even believe they allowed Stephen Pearl to approach the ref after what happened in Notre Dame a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
At Cal. I can't remember who was the home team. I think it was Notre Dame.
That's a good point.
I think it was the Notre Dame Cal game.
But yeah, when I saw him going over to talk to the ref, that surprised me that was even allowed. I figured somebody would have stopped him beforehand. Just the thought in your head of like, hey, we saw what happened the other day. Notre Dame ref actually didn't end up doing anything but got in his face. It was just a bad situation altogether. That's one where, like, it's a rare situation where no matter what you call, I kind of feel bad for the official end because it's just not going to be good if you call it. Like, if you do your job, you're going to upset one fan base to the point where on Twitter you're going to be getting a bunch of stuff or on social media you're getting a bunch of stuff. Or if you make the other call, the people around you are just going to be doing the same thing. So you can't really please anybody.
Well, you just have to do your job. Like
you just do your job.
And the job is you have the angle of the backboard, red light on with the ball seemingly in his hand. What else can you do? You have to. I think the red light is king, if I'm not mistaken. I think that is like the end-all, be-all. Even if the other scoreboard has like a little .1 on it, if that backboard red light, that is king in terms of time is up, clock is 0. So you have to go with that, and I get why you're really frustrated if you're Auburn. You think you just got to win. It's pulled out from underneath you. But what do you want the refs to do? Not see what they see? Act like it, just give a, like, all right, you know what? It wasn't good, but it was such a cool moment. We're giving it to you. You know, maybe we do that. Maybe we say, like, all right, when it's within a fraction of a second, we just go to with a default to, like, if it's cool. Like you're doing, like, in the schoolyard and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know, like with your family, or if you're playing pickup with friends. It's like, that's too cool. We're just going to go ahead and count it. Yeah, you can't do that, unfortunately. I will say, I don't think Kentucky's going to be competing for an SEC championship, unfortunately, but that would have been probably better for Kentucky had Auburn gotten the way. You just usually want home teams to take care of business in the SEC and assume they're going to trip up on the road if they're going to be competitive. Auburn's not. I'm not worried about them competing with UK for seeding in the SEC, but it's not impossible that A&M will be in the mix. They're 2-0 already in the conference, and they're having a pretty great start in the Bucky era. I don't think they're going to be a threat to win the SEC, but not impossible that they could be competing for the 4th seed with UK, where UK is the 5th and they're the 4th. So I just kind of keep an eye on stuff like that. And that was a big road win for them to be able to start SEC play 2-0. Kentucky will look to avoid LSU, Auburn, and Texas as 0-2 teams in the conference tonight. But if Missouri pulls off the upset, that's exactly where the Cats will be. And then there's loads of other teams that will be trying to reach A&M at 2-0 in the SEC last night. Bad loss for LSU. I know we were talking about that game not too long ago. Like, Kentucky going to Baton Rouge. Should they win that one? I'm sorry, if South Carolina can do it.
Yeah. If
South Carolina can go to Baton Rouge and get an SEC road win.
And they were up 50-25 at halftime.
Then 1 week from today, the Cats better be able to do. They were up, what at halftime?
50-25.
Who, South Carolina?
South Carolina was.
So LSU with a fiery comeback. But
yeah, Matt McMahon never should have left Murray State.
Big mistake. They say that about anybody. But no, it was a really fun night of college basketball. But we're not done there either, are we?
No. The game I first turned on to start the night was Duke and Louisville. I know we kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but you know, there's the way that Louisville came out firing. I mean, I thought it was a 1.5 point spread. I think Duke was favored by 1.5 at tip-off. Is that right?
Well, Louisville was favored most of the day. Yeah. I think it did flip depending on where you were looking, but yeah.
And I thought that's my 1.5 is in a lot of trouble right now. And the way that Louisville was shooting, and what would they shoot? They shot 10 of 21 from 3 in the first half. Followed that up with a 2 for 17 in the second half. And I mean, I just thought the way that they were moving the ball and getting so many good looks. Conwell started out, I think, 4 for 4 from 3. And then Ali Khalifa was 4 for 4 from 3 to start the game. He ended up finishing 5 for 5 from 3. Ali Khalifa did.
Yeah, it kind of feels like if you're U of L, you really wasted that.
Exactly.
Really wasted that. All right, here's the shooting was incredible for U of L in the first half. And Matt, obviously, you were watching. It could have even been better. I mean, there was some that were halfway down. There were several that were just wide open. You thought for sure that they were good.
By himself had like 3 wide opens. He went over 5 for the night. I mean, he was sitting in the corner. Nobody was even guarding him. He just could not hit the side of a barn.
That ball, I would have thought it was an EVO ball. They could not dribble that ball. They couldn't hold on to the ball. It kept doing weird thing. It kept doing the old toilet bowl. Sometimes it'd go in, but most of the time it would kind of spurt back out. That ball was wonky. I texted Big Blue Drew. I was like, that's got to be an EVO. But it's U of L, so they're playing with an Adidas ball.
The new Adidas ball is made to play like the Evo ball.
I guarantee it. That ball was weird.
Yeah, when I went, I thought the same thing. So when I was at the Louisville game, I picked it up. I still got to bring the Evo in for you to feel the difference between the basketballs.
Yeah, we really do.
Yeah, so I felt that ball, dribbled it a few times, and I said, this is their version of the Evo. And it acts like it. I thought the same thing, TJ, as a few of those shots went in and around, and even like Boozer had a finish that I thought was going down, and it
bounced
like
out.
the layups and dribbling the ball looked so weird.
So weird. It looked like at times they weren't sure where it was going to bounce back up into their hand.
Yeah.
It was strange. It looked like they were in slow motion. All right, I've got to get your all's takes on the Case and Pryor headbutt.
Oh, do you think that Kelsey said, hey, go just try to get him to pick up his second foul? And
I don't think that he said it right there, but I wouldn't doubt if it was talked about that day. Just like, hey, we're going to get you out there, but he's still, how many minutes did he end up playing when it was all said
I think
and done?
8. I think he finished 8.
Okay, so, yeah, we're going to get you out there. We want you to get a little run, but obviously you're not going to be like a 30-minute per game player tonight. So see if you can make an impact in any sort of way. See if you can make an impact in any sort of way. Oh, that fired me up. First off, he's just such a goober to begin with.
Yeah.
He's just you knew that he was going to do something goofy or silly or stupid like that. And I gotta just call it like I see it, producer Matt. It worked.
It worked.
Yeah.
I hate that it worked. I hate that the goober referees rewarded him because the Duke guy, what is the Duke guy supposed to do? We're lining up to throw the ball inbounds, and this bozo comes and puts his head on my chest? What are you doing? Yeah, of course, get the hell off of me. And Jay Billis to have the nerve. Yeah, it puts him in a tough spot, but you just have to turn around. No. The referee and the referees to go over and look at that and then deem it a double technical. Have a spine. The only reason that there was any interaction or involvement or altercation whatsoever is because the goofy blonde dude came and put his head on me. And I was just getting it off of him. It was a joke that that's basically going to be rewarding people to just be instigators moving forward. If you can get a double tech out of it, it's a win for the goober that's only going to play 8 minutes versus the lottery pick player.
Was it Gungba? Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, it was those two, right?
Yes.
And he kind of responded with a little tap on the head.
Just like, get your head off of me. He was pushing his head away.
Yeah.
Just like, get your head off of me. They call a double technical, which ended up being Nabunga's second personal foul. Nabunga was frustrated and was like, all right, I'm going to go score on this dude. The ball does a wonky, weird thing.
Yep.
He makes a great move. It doesn't go in, and then he's a little frustrated, tries to go for a rebound, gets another foul. And if you're U of L and Pryor, you have to be like, this was the
perfect,
amazing move in this 2-minute, or not even 2-minute stretch, 20-second stretch. We get this guy 2 fouls. What did you make of it as a U of L fan, producer Matt?
I defended Case and Pryor with the whole, like, F 'em stuff. Like, I defended that because, like, that's just, you're getting into the rivalry mentality. I can't really defend Case and Pryor for that last night. You basically walked down the floor and were portrayed as, I'm a guy who's just 5 fouls. Like, that's what I am. But like you said, it worked because you get out there, you found a dude who was already kind of probably frustrated. He'd been having a rough game already. You get a double technical, give him a foul, and then, like I said, 20 seconds later gets another one. He's basically out for the rest of the half. It was one where, in my opinion, if I'm looking at it, neither player did anything that was, like, worthy of a technical. Like, for me, that's like a conversation of the ref, like, come on, guys, we just cleaned this up. We're just being stupid out here. Like, because then you don't reward anybody, right?
What was Case and Pryor doing? That has to be a technical. You just can't go instigate, like, and physically do something.
I'm saying we've seen worse than that in games not be technical fouls. We see dudes hand checking each other over and over again.
But usually it's in the play of the game where it's like there's some plausible deniability. Like, I was just making a play on the ball. Somto Surreal got thrown out yesterday, and he made a big stink about it.
He deserved that one.
You elbowed somebody in the face. Of course you deserve to get thrown out for that. But he could say, like, I'm playing basketball. Case and Pryor wasn't playing basketball. I hear you. It wasn't the most egregious thing in the world. I'm not saying he should have been thrown out for that by itself, but you're saying it should have been just a good talking.
Yeah, it should have been like, you were like, guys, I'm not calling this.
But then what do you call a technical on them?
I think if it escalates, like, that's like a warning.
So, like, if he did it again?
If he did it again, or if
you just can't go.
And then I can't.
He knew what he was doing, and it worked. But
I also can't defend Patrick Ngongba because, like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't fully agree with Jay Billis. But in the sense of it's the common when your team is up in football and they just they're trying to they're stepping over your players when they're down, they're trying to get you to react, and he reacted. It's just like, dude, at some point you just got to not react.
But he didn't punch him in the face. He didn't slap him in the face.
You're right.
Like, how else are you going to get this dude's head off my chest? Well, I'm going to move it. You know,
You just back up.
You could back up as well, but what if he kept going at him?
Well, then that's on Case and Pryor then. But
it was on Case and Pryor to start. It was on Case and Pryor to start.
Ngongba didn't do anything.
You know what?
To alleviate. He just walked. He just did it. So like, I'm not agreeing. I think the ref made a horrible call on this. I'm not defending Case and Pryor at all. But Patrick Ngongba also didn't do himself any favors by reacting to it.
The worst thing though to me was Case and Pryor's reaction to getting tapped on the head. The whole, like, we watch a lot of soccer, man. You know, the whole, like, throw his head back and,
like, oh, look at this guy. Look at this guy. What are you doing to me?
Yeah. Where's the yellow card?
Yeah, no, I think to a certain degree, Matt, you just can't reward that. Like, he knew exactly what he was doing, and but the refs did reward him for it.
It was smart, though. I mean, I'm not, like, for Case and Pryor, and if it was orchestrated by his head coach to say, look, you were out there to get their guys in foul trouble. Go get their heads.
Job well done. Yeah, you made an impact on this game. And then
I've said Kentucky should. I've said that for years. That hey, if you got a chance to just throw that guy out there, get in his head.
You know what John Chaney called him?
Jordan Burke.
You know John Chaney called him goons. Every team needs to have a goon.
Yeah.
And Calipari hated John Chaney's goons. And yeah, you have muscle guy. That's sometimes what Lance Ware was at times.
True. Yeah.
He wasn't in there for a skill set, folks.
Well, that's maybe you go get Jordan Burks to try to get into Jack Golke's head. You know.
And like even if it didn't work in Pryor's situation, even if they handled it the way that I think they should have handled it, and they just give him a technical, who cares? Right?
Exactly.
You know, you may give up 2 points, which is but at that point you're winning, and you could come back from that. But like, all right, it didn't work. We tried to bait them. Who knows? Maybe they'll get frustrated later in the game, or maybe they'll try to get some hidden payback that'll come back. So even if it didn't work, it's really not the end of the world. So while as much as I hate it, and he's a goober,
people tried to
maybe it was a smart coaching play.
People tried to bait DeMarcus Cousins all the time.
For sure.
You know, because maybe there's a scouting report.
Jared Swapshire successfully baited him.
Exactly. Man, Louisville's good at this.
They
no matter
are.
who the coach is.
Yep, no doubt about it. It was well, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say for Louisville, that was a game that you obviously missed your best player, and I don't know. With Conwell, he missed the next 7 threes that he took after starting out 4 for 4. If you have Mikal Brown, I wonder if you're able to pull that game out. Getting outscored 46-26 in the second half.
Really worried about Duke maybe winning a title or at least going to a Final Four.
No,
they're not winning a title.
Cameron Boozer is the best player in college basketball. He's still minus 190 for National Player of the Year. I know AJ Despansta has been on an absolute tear. He's second favorite, I think, at plus 210 or plus 190. Boozer's still going to win, folks. I just can't stress it enough. He was incredible. He's so hard to guard.
Mm-hmm.
He's relentless with his action, uses his footwork so well. He's a great, great basketball player. And the fact that they can just bring Sarr off the bench is just wild to me for a Duke team. He's probably going to be their best prospect. I think it's not crazy to think that in 10 years Sarr is the best player out of all these people that we're talking about. It's a good team, and they're still figuring things out. They're not an amazing outside shooting team. And then, producer Matt, I thought Shire came out with just the absolute worst game plan of all time. Like, did he not know that Khalifa could shoot threes? And I get what he was doing. He was trying to sink everything back to stop U of L's cutting because he was so worried about U of L just getting to the rim at ease because their guards are so good and Khalifa's such a good passer.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the reason why U of L was able to hit 10 first-half threes. It was a terrible game plan. Now, credit to Shire. They made all the adjustments in the world, and then defensively, I don't know what Louisville was doing. I would have tried. Did they try any zone? Maybe I was dealing with a kid, but it was a layup line for about 10 minutes for Duke at a certain stretch there in the second half where I was just like, what are you doing, Kelsey? You got to try something else.
I was screaming the whole game. Like, you're sitting here where Peake would make the mention that, like, Michael Brown changes that game a little bit. That's early in the second half. When you come out early in the second half and you realize John Shire is just fully committing to perimeter defense, the inside was really weak. Yeah, you have Cam Boozer kind of helping off the whole time, like leaving Javon Hadley open. But if you have Michael Brown there, we just had nobody to go and attack the rim. Like, Ryan Conwell and Adrian Woolley are good enough to, like, draw fouls in the paint, but they're not fast enough to beat anybody off the dribble. And the screen and roll just wasn't working. They were pressuring everything. They were hedging every screen. that's where you need Michael Brown to just be athletic, be faster than the guy in front of him, and beat some guys to get other guys open. We just didn't have that. So I think he's an effective change, and that changes a little bit the outcome of that game. But at the end of the day, I still think they lose because this team just cannot guard anybody on the ball. It's impossible. Mike Hill fixes that a little bit just because of his speed. He's still not the greatest defender, but at least he's faster, longer, and a little more athletic. He can at least stay in front of his defender a little bit better. But, I mean, my God, I was screaming because the entire last 10 minutes, even when Louisville would kind of a little bit of a life and cut it down to 7 or 8, we were just playing iso ball. Like, they were literally just giving the ball to Foster and just whoever was guarding him, whether it was Kobe Rogers or Javon Hadley, or, I mean, they were attacking Isaac McNeely left and right. And he wasn't doing anything crazy. He would just do like a double crossover and then just jet right past anybody you want, and then you have to help, and you leave open 3 or he gets to the basket. And it doesn't help that you're already in the double bonus with 12 minutes left. That just doesn't help at all. And it was one where I'm sitting right next to Roman, and I'm like, Roman, all they're doing is playing iso ball, and they're just screen and roll, iso ball, screen and roll, attacking the basket. How do you fix that? What's the most what is the most layman's terms you can ask to fix that? And we just look at each other like, you just clog the paint.
Yeah,
I'm like,
let's try it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get that in today's world of basketball, like 2-3, 1-3-1, stuff like that is kind of like the forbidden rule. That's like the no-no. Like, you show that your team is weak on defense, you're playing that stuff. But by God, if they're literally just playing 5 out, and you're just getting torched by one guy who's doing no passing, he's really not even doing a lot in terms of ball handling. He's just faster and more athletic than the guy defending him. Run a zone, clog the paint, at least give it a try. And Pat Kelsey just made 0 adjustments. He was just throwing bodies out there at people, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree. I was a little disappointed with Pat Kelsey's second half there.
You're going to see some zone tonight again, with Kentucky playing Missouri.
Missouri's going to play some zone?
Tigers like to play a 2-3 zone.
Might see some new offense, too, according to Mo Diabate.
Oh, right. Yeah. Did you happen to check out any of that? Maybe we'll save it for
let's get that queued up for the second segment because we're going to talk Cats, Tigers, obviously. But I do want to just kind of finish the college basketball as a whole from last night. Georgia gets blown out at Florida. That game was close at halftime, but Georgia was kind of fortunate to make it close at halftime. Michigan, Penn State shoots a 3 at the buzzer with a chance to give Michigan its first loss of the season. Folks, it's not impossible that Michigan runs the table. I'm just saying. They are a dominant basketball team, but Penn State had them on the ropes. Terrible last possession by the Nittany Lions, and Michigan survives with a 74-72 win. Houston with a big conference win against Texas Tech. I mean, it was just a great night of basketball. Minnesota upsets Iowa 70-67 last night. I was keyed in on that as well. We mentioned the Kansas TCU game, which was wild. And then in the battle of the ugly-ass Orange UT battle, Tennessee takes care of business at home. They're up 15 at halftime and just cruise in the second half to drop Texas to 0-2 in the SEC. So Tennessee starting to hit its stride. Maybe a little bit. Well, they did lose their first conference game. But besides that, I think they're Native Mint starting to play a little bit better. And they're going to be tough. I know Gillespie had a ton of points last night. How many was it? 34 points. I didn't realize it was that many. Yeah, Jacoby Gillespie for Tennessee, 34 points last night. So good night of college basketball. And the beauty of it all is we get to run it back tonight with our favorite flavor, the Kentucky Wildcats taking on Missouri. Missouri has never won a basketball game in Rupp Arena. They have never won a basketball game in the city of Lexington. Playing against UK, I don't know if maybe there's a tournament game at some point that they strolled through town. But I guess they were 0-2 at Memorial, and they are 0-7 at Rupp Arena. So the Tigers have never defeated UK. Does that change tonight? We'll talk about it. Mo Diabate has some motivation. We'll talk about that as well. We'll talk about it all. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio. Happy Wednesday. against Missouri. Favorite win against Missouri. Welcome back, Kentucky Roll Call here on Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. Cats Mizzou tonight, Rupp Arena, 7 o'clock.
I'm going to go with actually last year's game. I thought was pretty exciting. They, I think Missouri made it closer towards the end, but Kentucky came out firing. Actually, I think our boy Colin Chandler had a big game in that one, and that 91-83 win again between two ranked teams.
Yeah, that was I thought Kentucky would have no chance to win that game with it just being Missouri Senior Day. Kentucky had just looked really good against LSU. But that was really Kentucky's last probably great moment, maybe the Illinois tournament win. You could make
that was your number one moment from 2025.
Absolutely. The Missouri game did make me believe, though, that like that version of Kentucky, I think that they were, I don't know, I think Lamont was banged up then. Was he not?
He was, but I believe he played.
Oh, he did play 26 minutes. So
yeah, but he was still wearing the thing on his shoulder.
But Jackson was out. Jackson was out at that time. But you kind of just had this belief of like, all right, this ragtag group, they can still get it done if they go to Missouri and get a big win. So you're saying last year, that's a great answer. I'm going to go 2013, the NIT team.
Oh, yeah.
I think College Game Day was there that day, if I'm not mistaken.
Julius Mays, or is that who was it, a big three?
Yeah, and that Missouri team had Orkai, Alex Orkai. He played at UConn. He beat UK in the Final Four in 2011, and then he transferred over to Mizzou. They had Phil Pressey too, as well. Why am I not saying Alex Orkaki's name last? Right?
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, anyways, Kentucky had no business beating that Missouri team. UK without Nerlens Noel, but when Kentucky got that win, it really did make you believe that, like, all right, it was an overtime win, 90-83. Made you think that maybe they can do some stuff here. Big game from Alex Poitras and Archie Goodwin and Julius Mays. Game high. Actually team high, 24 points. Phil Pressey with 27 points. But that's my favorite win over Missouri. That NIT team getting it done in 2013. I hope this isn't an NIT team.
Kentucky 16-3 overall against the Tigers. Only 3 losses have come from 2018, 2021, and 2022. And I was at that 2022 game, and that was the game that I remember everybody saying Dennis Gates is running the modern offense and Kentucky's running the archaic offense. And when I went back and watched it the next day, I was like, I think Missouri just made shots.
Yeah.
I think that's all that really happened in that game was Missouri made shots, Kentucky missed wide open shots. What they shoot? They shot 10 of 25 from 3, Missouri did. Kentucky was 8 of 23. So was it that big of a because that's what they were talking about was the 3-point shooting. And it's like, okay, they made 2 more threes and they shot 2 more threes. Is it really that big of a difference? And since then, Kentucky has won the last 2. Did they not play in 2023?
They only played once. They've only played once the last 3 years. How is that possible? They did play in 2022, 2023, but it was before the turn of the calendar. So that was December 28th, 2022. So the 2022-2023 season, that game.
Oh, okay. I see. All right.
And they only played once in 24, and they only played once last year. That is weird. Do we go back there this year? We almost certainly have to, right?
Well, we only played there we only played them once last season. Let me pull up Kentucky's schedule and see if that's still the case. But going there, they actually have a really good atmosphere. Like they obviously they take basketball serious at Missouri. What's the best that they finished?
They've never been to a Final Four, I'm almost certain.
I don't know that Missouri has ever won a championship in anything. I'm serious. I think I looked that up like a couple summers ago. I was going through all the SEC teams and the team championships. I don't think they've ever won a team championship in any sport.
No, this is it for UK and Missouri.
Okay.
Well, why do they only play? I thought that there was like some sort of format where every so often you played certain teams twice every year, but it rotated. I guess not with UK and Missouri.
They played twice in 2018.
Who could forget?
Right. Kentucky lost 1-1. So, I don't know. That's weird.
Well, anyways, this is a huge one for UK, and here's Mo Diabate to get you motivated.
What's up, guys? Back with another Motivational Monday. Today's quote is, every day may not be good, but there's something good in every day. Let's have a good week.
Every day may not be good, but there's something good in every day.
Okay.
I agree. every day with this basketball team has been pretty bad. Doesn't mean that the entire day has been bad, Stephen Peak. Has Mo Diabate ever tried to give motivation to his own team? Has he ever gone to his own team and just been like, let's get motivated to stop losing?
I'm sure he's had some
You
words.
think they've had some talks?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure, especially after that press conference yesterday. Well, you saw him and Jalen get into it a little bit at the Alabama game.
Him and Jalen Lowe?
Yeah.
I don't think I did see that.
Maybe they didn't show it on TV, but they were going at it
Just
a lot.
Arguing
Give me the ball.
press conference, or not press conference, but timeout or
Timeout and on the court.
Really?
I thought for sure it would have been picked up on the.
Maybe it was. I was again at times having to listen to the radio broadcast. They certainly didn't mention it when I was talking about it. You did hear Pope mention that, some of the players were being a little chippy with one another. I guess is that what he's referring to, or was there even more than that?
There was. Otega was talking to just. It's not like there's team turmoil. I mean, this just happens when you're getting blown out, and it's not even finger pointing as much as it's trying to come up with a solution. I don't know. Maybe I'm mollycoddling them just a little bit with this, but it could be. I know for a fact what he said because he told us yesterday in the interviews, and it's funny because Jalen was the other player there, and Jalen was done. So Jalen's standing by the door while Mo is saying, "I was telling Jalen, give me the ball. I have a mismatch, and we need to exploit this." I don't know that it was at least good to hear how much losing is affecting Mo Diabate. You can just see it, like he's getting frustrated with how this is going. And out of the 5 losses, they're all against good teams. So tonight you play a team that got a big win over the weekend, beating a pretty good Florida team that just last night beat the hell out of a top-ranked Georgia team, albeit without Santo Cerrillo for a lot of the game. Mm-hmm. But this is a big game. You can't lose it. I feel like we said can't lose and must wins and since the freaking third big game of the season.
With the exception of the UNC game, which they had no business losing, the games that we've said you can't afford to lose this one. They have won.
Exactly.
They have won.
Yeah.
They don't have any terrible losses or really even bad losses or debatably any losses to teams that aren't going to be top 5 tournament seeds potentially or top 6 tournament seeds, which again, that's not what we're looking for, and that's not the standard or the bar at Kentucky. But this is what you do when you lose to every good team. Mm-hmm. You set yourself up in a position where you cannot afford one slip up. And Mark Pope teams, unfortunately, historically, always will have a slip up here or there. It can't be this week. It just can't be this week. I'm not saying it can't happen somewhere in SEC play, but it can't be this week. I don't think the team could survive it. I would worry that you may have an opt-out. I'd worry that you may just lose the locker room entirely, and nothing that a winning streak couldn't fix down the road. But if they can't beat Missouri and Mississippi State with their backs up against the wall at home this week, why would you think they could ever get hot at any other point in the season?
No,
so it
exactly.
is. I don't want to say it's now or never, but it's. If never comes tonight, the season, it's over.
Well, let me ask you this.
If you lose tonight, it's over. If you lose on Saturday, it's over.
Would you feel better? Would you feel different if they had lost these 5 games and all of them were close?
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be like the 2011 team.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
they lost a lot of games away from Rupp Arena.
Did beat good teams.
Yeah,
but
I think they got blown out by Connecticut, but that was like a third game in 3 games, a Maui Invitational deal.
They lost. I think they lost to maybe Ole Miss down in Oxford. They lost to Arkansas and Fayetteville. It wasn't when the SEC was all that good. They just lost a ton of road games. They didn't drop a home game all year.
They went undefeated at home.
Cal didn't lose his first home game till what? A&M in 13.
Yep.
Elston Turner's 41. Elston Turner's 41 points.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty impressive stuff. So listen, this season, there is like a little avenue for optimism, but it can't afford a bad home loss. And
right.
Both of these would be bad home losses. And my gut is telling me one is going to be a blowout and one is going to be close. And I think tonight I lean closer to this one being the blowout just because Missouri's not a great outside shooting team. They have a couple shooters that can get hot, especially one guy who's shooting over 50% on many, many attempts this year. You're going to obviously need to have a good scouting report and not let him get hot. But I do think the Cats are going to come out, look good. Home court advantage is going to help them, and we can all exhale a little bit tonight. But I do hate that the going into Saturday, it was like, all right, you win this one. This could be fun. We could get this thing back. Winning doesn't really do anything for me tonight, but losing is the consequence.
Yeah.
If you lose, it's like, oh no. On Saturday, if you win, ooh, that'd be fun. Instead, you get blown out. But you're exactly right. It's the manner of how they've lost which has put the fan base in the position that it's in. The losing, of course, yes, that's bad. But getting blown out, not being competitive, just looking flat out stinky.
Yeah.
That's not all right. And again, against bad teams, it hasn't happened. I'm not saying Missouri's a bad team. I keep throwing that word around. They're okay. They're 11-3, obviously.
Yeah, and they're
getting healthier.
They shoot about 37% from three. They make 8 a game.
You really just got to stay on Jacob Cruz. Trent Pierce is back. He had been injured most of the year. He's shooting 50% on the year, but it's only in one game sample size. But
yeah.
Jacob Cruz is their shooter. He's the guy you have to keep an eye on. And then the Luke Norweather guy, he's just a scrub. He has a good percentage, but he's a big guy that you don't have to worry about for the most part. But they're not an amazing shooting team outside of Cruz, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean, talking to the players yesterday, they did mention their three-point shooting in some of, I guess that's being brought up in some of the scouting. Just going through the numbers from the Florida game, I mean, Cruz was 0 for 1 in that one, and I think it looks like Anthony Robinson and Jaden Stone combined for 4 of 11.
Stone's back. He had missed a lot of time. He's kind of like a little water bug for Missouri, an energy guy, but not anybody that should blow you up for 25 points or anything like that. It's just Mark Mitchell is kind of as far as they go for the most part in terms of their scoring, their energy, their muscle. You would hope JQ would be ready for this one. I want to just see Kentucky look good as a healthy team. Nobody on the injury report for the Cats tonight, by the way. That's good news. Missouri's got Porter out. He's been out, I think, majority of the year for them anyways. They're actually the healthiest that they've been in a while. So both teams coming in healthy. I just want a healthy Kentucky team with Jalen Lowe looking good, Jaden Quaintance looking good, and it doesn't even have to be for a full 40 minutes, but I would like 33 minutes. Not them specifically,
Does
but
he
the team.
start tonight?
I just want the team to look good. I'm going to say he does not start tonight.
Man, I mean, people are just going to get so fired up about that. And, I just avoid a slow start. Don't tell me about hitting a wall. I mean, it was the first 50 seconds were fine, but you made one field goal in the opening segment of the game. The first 4 minutes and change, one field goal. It was a Colin Chandler, great look, splashed it from the wing to make it a 5-0 game. But then from that point on, it was a 9-0 run, and I want to see Kentucky build a lead. Can Kentucky get up 15 to 20 points in the first half? I mean, this would be a game to do it.
Yeah, please. What is their biggest first half lead against a Power 5 opponent?
It's a great question. It might have been LSU last year. They beat pretty handedly. Could have been them.
Oh, that was my game. I got to hang out with Mitch Barnhart. Not really.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I was right by
that one.
I was right by him for that one. No, but I mean for this year.
Oh, this year.
This year's team.
I mean, they haven't had a lead against any of the power teams.
5-0 against Alabama on Saturday. That's UK's biggest lead. I'm joking, but
yeah.
Could it be?
They have not had a lead at halftime in all 7 of their marquee matchups. The only one that they weren't trailing in was North Carolina. They were tied.
It says 14 points against Indiana.
Okay.
In the second half.
In the second half.
Yeah, but in the first, what's UK's biggest lead against a Power 5 team in the first half? Man,
I don't know. Have they? I mean, North Carolina. I guess maybe they had a
Kentucky was up 6 with 5:30 to play against North Carolina at home and lost that game.
Yeah, that's really frustrating. But
an 85% chance.
As far as a first half lead, I mean, dude, I don't. They never led really. Well, they had a lead against Louisville, but it might have been 4 points. Was it even that high? They had a 4-point. I think they were up. Were they up 6 against Michigan State at one point? They may have been up 6 against them. But the North Carolina game would be the only other one. They were up 10-4 against North Carolina.
I was totally joking about Alabama 5-0, and that may honestly be it.
Well,
yeah,
10-4 against Carolina. They were up by 6.
Okay, all right, there you go.
Up by 6 in that one in the first half, and then then it was tied 31-31 at the break.
That is hard to believe.
I know.
And it's not like they've only played 2 power conference teams or something like that. I mean, what we were like 8-game sample size, 7-game sample size?
7, yes.
And their biggest first half lead is 6 points?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to end up being correct.
Oh, no.
They've been down.
Oh, heavens, no.
How much were they down? They were down 7 to Louisville, but that was battling back from down 20. They were down 17 to Michigan State. They were down. They were tied with North Carolina. Gonzaga. They were down 23 at halftime. Indiana, I think they were down 7. And St. John's, they were down 7 as well.
Man.
So let's how about we build up a lead, have a halftime lead, and kind of cruise to a victory. That would be fun. Let's not sweat this one out tonight.
Mavericks minority owner and Indiana alum Mark Cuban has made another donation to the school's athletic department ahead of the Hoosiers' college football playoff semifinal matchup with Oregon. Cuban had never donated directly to the athletic department until 2024, but his connection with Kurt Signetti and the team's success last year was a factor in his decision to contribute. Who's our Mark Cuban?
Our friends of Cole are going to have to step the game. I mean, I don't even know because
who's our second biggest donor?
I don't know. I'm sure there's some horse people out there that's got some money, right? Man. Yeah, I mean that it's the landscape of the sport is changing because of your connection to billionaires. But like for Kentucky basketball, they outspent everybody anyways. So,
can I ask a serious question?
Yeah,
no.
Of course.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right.
From how long? And I'm not talking just UK. I'm talking like U of L, UK, both schools who are basketball dominant. They always have been. How long do you think this goes on before one or both the schools decide, look, football's the moneymaker? Like,
it won't be UK.
As much as we love basketball here, we got to start moving towards what the rest of the country is doing.
I think they already do. I think they already acknowledge that. I think they already know it, but they're not just going to give up on 100+ years of tradition.
Right. I was going to say the tradition of winning.
You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it.
It's what the fans take the most pride in is basketball. Of course, I would love to be a national champion in football, but it's also the path of least resistance to go all in on basketball. It's like Cal State Fullerton and Rice in baseball. We're just going to be great at that.
Sure.
I don't know the last time they've ever made.
We'll only be hearing about our athletic programs one time a year, and it's going to be during baseball season.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. I get that football's where it's at, but we're not really. I think we're having a different conversation, producer Matt, because if you have a Mark Cuban in your pocket, you can be good at basketball and football.
Well, that's kind of the point I'm making is how long do you let this go on before where you're kind of both schools are kind of mediocre at both, where you're like, hey, let's go all in on football because it's the biggest moneymaker, and then we can use the revenue we get to bring basketball back.
The only issue is you going all in on football. What is LSU doing? What is Alabama doing? What is Auburn doing? What is Florida doing? And can you go all in on football better than those places who are already going all in on football? So that's where there's a little catch-22 there. Is like, yeah, I think it sounds great in principle, and I think Kentucky is kind of going all in on football with Will Stein. They're giving him a ton of resources. And in hour 2, we're going to talk about the latest with Kentucky in the transfer portal, some moves that we love, some head-scratching moves, and producer Matt, for UK being such a pathetic football team the last few years, you sure are taking some of our players, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're bringing them on board.
That's the Vince Marrow effect.
That is the
Vince Marrow effect.
And Vince, and that tweet, the fake parody Vince Marrow account.
Yes, I loved it.
And then seeing Vince Marrow respond to Vince Marrow and having all the pictures of Vince Marrow, I just was laughing entirely too hard of that. All right, the richest people in Kentucky. We're going to tell you who they are so we can reach out to them and see if they can do the Mark Cuban thing with UK Athletics. You are not going to want to miss this list when we return. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio. we're going to read your text into the Game Day Men's Health text line. Go ahead and send those texts in, 502-414-1450. Game Day Men's Health, redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com to finding a new era in men's health. We love reading the text line. Curious how folks are feeling about the game tonight. Unfortunately, I do think a little apathy is set in for some people where they just don't care as much. That stinks. How many threes does UK hit tonight?
Yeah, 6. That'd be an improvement.
Tonight's going to be the good. Mizzou plays zone.
They do. That's
they
true.
play zone.
Cam
Tonight
Williams.
is going to be the good outside shooting night for UK. I'm saying 9, everybody.
Oh!
It's still less than what U of L had in
Wow.
the first half yesterday, but 9 total. It'll be an improvement, and I'll be happy about it. That's just
Yeah, like Ali Khalifa had as many threes in the first half last night as Kentucky hit the entire game versus Alabama.
You tweeted that, and I think I threw up when I
Yeah,
saw it.
I didn't like tweeting it at all because at that point I kind of thought Louisville was going to win, and that's a tough game because like when Louisville's on fire and I'm hearing my guy Lance on the PA
We
doing
love Lance.
and I'm like, oh God, I hope they lose. And then when Duke starts running and then they're flexing, I'm like, I hate that Duke's winning. So I don't even know why I watched that game because I go back and forth on who I want to lose more. And but yeah, I think that I've been saying it for the last couple weeks. Kentucky's 3-point shooting has got to get better because either they're the worst 3-point shooting team in Kentucky history, or they're going to have some type of regression to the mean. Maybe against a zone defense tonight. Cam Williams lit up a zone defense last time Kentucky faced one. So, yeah, maybe. I would like to. Hitting 8 threes, that should be the goal. If they'd hit 8 threes against Alabama, which would have been a pretty good shooting percentage, actually. I don't think they're good enough to shoot 8 of 20. But
That's part of the issue. Like, to get 8, how many you taken?
I would say 25. Like 8 of that's about 33%.
Here's one thing. Like, the 30 number that Mark Pope would always say, that was silly and ridiculous. But you do, even if you're not a great outside shooting team, you still just have to swallow your pride and take them because otherwise teams will just, if you're not even trying, then teams won't even try to defend the perimeter.
Yeah.
And then it just turns into a muddied mess in the paint. So even if, like, Kentucky's game plan still needs to be to probably shoot 20-plus threes a game, as much as it may be painful to watch old Mo Diabate throw it behind his back towards the rim.
Well, there's just so much clunkiness and clutter in the half court that I'm just like, with the other team scores, do what Louisville does. Get the ball out of the net and go fly up the court. First available shot, take it. I don't care if it's Jalen Lowe 7 times in a row. Like, just first available, good, clean look, let's go. Because obviously trying to run sets and kind of grind it to an open shot is not working. So
And secondly, this can be a solid offensive rebounding team,
Sure.
and you can get long rebounds on missed three-pointers. Hearing Nate Oates just talk about, they just were driving. They were going inside and not going to kick out or do anything. You can't. I know this isn't a great outside shooting team. If they go 4 of 35 from deep, we'll all get we'll be nauseated watching that. However, you got to do it. It's got to open things up. You got a lot of drivers. The only way you're going to make life easier for the drivers is to have some people that can knock down shots where defenses have to respect it and come out a little bit. So against the zone tonight, I actually feel like it'll be a decent 3-point shooting night.
Yeah, as Mo talked about yesterday, the new offense that they're running, they're obviously not doing the zoom action stuff as much anymore, and part of that is because they don't have bigs that they trust to pass the ball. Malachi is okay. Brandon has not been that great. And I do wonder if this coaching staff, when Mark Pope talked about a Ferrari, if he thought, well, we're going to be able to coach these guys up. We're going to be able to turn Brandon Garrison into Amari Williams. We can turn Trent Noah into a 40% three-point shooter. That it's not happening. So they've completely abandoned the whole entire game plan, obviously, but not seeing the zoom actions and the cuts to the basket, and that was so much fun last year. I think that with JQ, they can do it a little bit. Probably won't see it a ton tonight against Missouri's zone defense, but I like to see them run an offense through JQ like they ran it through Amari Williams last year. I think he has the skill sets to do it.
Yeah. Got to see it though, right?
Yeah,
like
tonight would be a good night
to put pen to paper on it.
Try it out.
And then if this season doesn't go the way that we want it to, we're going to have to be hitting up some rich folks. Mark Cuban, I think, is not going to donate to the University of Kentucky athletic department. So we looked up the richest people in Kentucky and some familiar names on the list.
There were. Maybe not all of them are going to be donating to Kentucky, but we can try.
Did you look up a list at all, producer Matt?
I did not.
So you're going to be hearing these names for the first time?
Yes.
Okay. You gotta let me know if you know who any of these people are, okay?
Okay, I will.
Tamara Gustavsson.
Sounds like a Kentuckian.
Tamara Gustavsson. Do you know who she is?
No idea. I'm looking her up right now. American business executive and billionaire.
Oh, she went to USC, though. She's probably going to be more likely to give her money to USC.
She does have a net worth of $8 billion, though. Maybe she has enough to go around.
She married her husband, Eric, in 1993. They have 2 children and live in Lexington, Kentucky. I mean,
she lives in Lexington.
Mitch Barnhart.
Reach out.
They own a horse farm.
Oh, I mean, come on. She's got to be giving something to Kentucky, right? She lives in Lexington, horse farm. She's got her horse friends. They go to Kentucky games. They sit in the lower bowl, right? I'm sure I've seen her at a game. She looks a little familiar.
She owns 11% of Public Storage.
Okay, there's another Public Storage guy here on the list. Gustavsson had put her Malibu property on sale for $127.5 million.
Tamara. We love Tamara.
Tamara. But you just be the University of Tamara for all we care.
Yes.
I don't mind. Why don't we see Tamara Gustavsson at games? Anybody?
Wait, what? Hang on. There's a photo of her at a sporting event. I don't know which one it is though. It's like her profile pic. It's her on.
What kind of blue are we working with?
Hang on. Should we add her on Facebook? Should I
get her on the list?
I'm hitting follow. I'm gonna see if we can get in contact with Tamara Gustavsson.
I could flirt with Tamara Gustavsson.
She's sitting front row at some type of basketball game.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it's reparations.
Well, it's very neutral colored. Everybody in this photo. Like, this looks like the most staged sports photo I've ever seen.
Is it AI?
Where are you all seeing this?
Facebook.
It's on her Facebook page. It's her header.
She wants to be Facebook friends, you think?
I followed her. She doesn't do the friends thing.
There is actually, this has to be planned. There's not a single person wearing anything incriminating in this photo. It's just all navy, black,
Is
white.
it a blackout?
Let's see what AI says about this photo. Okay?
Oh, she has an email.
Oh, Matt, can you email her, see if she wants to come on the show?
I got you to say, hey, what you doing? You up?
All right, we'll see what AI says about this photo. It is a funny photo, terrible radio medium, obviously. Maybe on the YouTube stream, producer Matt, put this photo up just so to help the YouTube folks, if you don't mind.
Yep, I can do that.
It's a courtside sports photo. The people are sitting on the sidelines. What appears to be a basketball game. There's a group of 5 spectators. The vibe is fun and relaxed. They look like a family or a close group. No player or team logos or identifying arena sign is visible. I cannot identify specific individuals. Originally scrubbed.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, very, very weird.
Very weird.
She's a fan of American Psycho and Chrysler, BMW, Honda.
We would hit it off.
Yeah.
We would hit it off.
Tamara Gustavsson.
Okay.
I assume we're recruiting her to donate. I assume they're on it.
Tamara, get to know Stein time. Get to know Sissy Cakes. Tamara Gustavsson, all right? How about that? Number 2 on the list is Kenny A. Trout, which just seems like that'd be like a fake name to go fishing or something. Kenny A. Trout. Kenny Trout.
SIU.
Okay, again, he lives in he owns a horse farm in Versailles. Do you think we can get like the Pope family to do a little door knocking on just like go down Versailles Road?
Yeah, just asking for donations
on their little bicycles and just be like, hey, can we borrow $100 million? On the list, Brad M. Kelly, tobacco business, major landowner. Brad Kelly with an E in the Kelly at the end.
Where's he from? He's born in Bowling Green. Gotta be a Cat fan, or he could be a topper.
Born in Bowling Green. Blah 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 blah. He attended WKU. Okay, never mind. We're gonna throw Brad Kelly off the list.
No, why is that? Now I went to Murray State,
He's
but I was born and raised.
But if you were a billionaire, you'd be giving money back to Murray State. Yeah, you'd probably be giving some to UK.
I mean, I got billions. I got money to go around.
That's true. Number 4 on the list. Here's a familiar name. I bet you know this one, producer Matt. Papa John Schneider.
I do.
Schneider.
He has some Kentucky connections, right? But he's a Louisville guy?
You will find him in UK gear all the time. And this is just another classic Mitch Barnhart goof. But when Papa John's forced him to sell and the world turned their back on Papa John, and he was eating 40 pizzas and 40 nights, you know who should have been in his corner? You know who should have put their arm around him and said, "It's okay, Papa John." You know that he used to, like Willy Wonka, he would, fling out little Papa John tokens, and people would be really excited and think it was something cool, but it was literally just a coin with his face on both sides.
I would take one of those.
I mean, I'm not saying I would say no to it, but people would be like, "Oh, it's probably like a free pizza coin."
Oh, it wasn't worth anything?
No, it was just the Papa John coin.
Wouldn't away for Mitch Barnhart to go out to be a Papa John supporter right before the end of his tenure.
What do you mean by that?
I think we all know what I mean by that.
Papa John was set up.
I'm just saying that I don't think Papa John is entirely PR trained for meetings with big company heads.
I'm going to go on the record and say I don't think Papa John is racist, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I'll look right here in the eye of the camera.
Of how he said
it actually was. I know, I'm having fun, and he
don't say it.
He goofed, but they set him up. I mean, it really seemed like an inside job, all things considered, and he'll say as much supposedly too, where he was with a PR training firm, and they were going over things not to say, and they were like, "You want me to say this?" And he was like, "I'm not supposed to say this." Okay, I'll say it if you're telling me to read.
Is that really how it went?
It is, and they got him on audio recording of it.
Wow.
So they got him saying, and it was not the best.
Yeah, I don't
either.
care. If you can, I'm never saying
it wasn't
that.
just like dropping the word. It was like it was a phrase.
I'm just saying
I'm
thinking maybe backing Papa John is not the greatest idea for the Kentucky Sports Athletic Association.
I say we do something bold and brave, and we absolutely embrace him. Scandal and
how much would we have to give for you to be okay with that whole incident?
Nobody's beyond their worst mistake, all right? And he really, truly was set up. A PR firm who was supposed to be helping him was the ones who leaked the audio tapes, too. If anything, they should have been sued to Bolivia. But it really set him on a dark path, 40 pizzas and 40 nights.
Oof.
Or, 40 pizzas and 30 nights. I think he was doubling up on some of those pizzas. Yeah. He said the quality went to crap. But that was a guy that just right over the river, he had like a little pizza shop, called it Papa John's. People loved it, and then it turned into this huge thing. Bring him back. All right, number 5, Mary Gaylord McLean. The McLean family is very rich. Lachlan McLean, obviously. That's how most people know him. But I don't know who Mary McLean is.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now. Maybe I'm spelling the name
wrong. She's in Simpsonville.
She is in Simpsonville.
Not too far.
She's a horse breeder. Here's your horse people, Stephen.
Good.
We have several. We have 3 of those.
Next, we've got B. Wayne Hughes Jr. That is part of the Gustavson estate. So Gustavson's parents, I think, were the Hugheses, the Wayne Hugheses.
Junior. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you were part of this public storage family, you're just rich. I guess getting into public storage a long time ago was the big business.
Oh wait, he was born in Southern California?
Well, probably from the Gustavson family.
This dude looks like prime Joey Gladstone.
Well, just say less. What a hunk then. Prime Chloe, he was the man. He was the best. What I need to pull up a picture of him. But
he's the founder of Serving USA, a nonprofit that helps military families.
Okay. Yeah, he does. Wow. He really does look like Joey Gladstone.
He's also the founder and chairman of Public Storage, like you said.
Get him on the horn.
He donated $117,000 to the campaign of Gary Johnson.
Oh,
Big Gary
libertarian.
Johnson. Yes, he is.
I'm a libertarian.
There
we
you
could
go.
totally hit it off, Wayne Hughes Jr. I mean, if you're donating that much money to the libertarian candidate, you're all right lighting it on fire. You could bring in an entire offensive line. Why are we not embracing these people? You don't think they like to be schmoozed? You don't think they'd like to be the lie?
How do we know, though, that they're not already giving something?
I feel like we'd know it. I mean, we just automatically assume any money is coming from the crafts. And I feel like if somebody wanted to get a little notoriety, they'd come out and say it. So I'm just going to go ahead and assume that it's a no. All right, this is where it kind of gets funny. Number 7, this is so embarrassing and pathetic. Mitch McConnell. Why is Mitch McConnell one of the richest people in Kentucky? A lowly senator?
I'm sure. Well, he's paid. What's their salary? Several million dollars a year.
Don't they only get like $135,000 a year, or something like that?
Yep, you're right.
But now he has been in office for 700 years. So if you take all that math and you add it together, Stephen Peak, it could come pretty close to $35 million.
Yeah. No. I don't know. You know what's funny? When I was at WHAS, I found the tape that was like Mitch McConnell introduction, and it was on beta, and I was like, yeah, that's not good. And he makes a salary of $174,000 a year. I'm sure everyone who makes $174,000 a year is at some point going to be a billionaire, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
That's
all you got to make is $174,000 a year, and you save up, and you don't spend anything, and then you'll be a billionaire.
Would you believe me if I told you that a United States senator holds $46.5 million in publicly traded assets?
You know what? I think I would believe you.
Really?
I would believe you.
Honestly, blows my mind.
Who is it?
Oh, who is it? Mitch McConnell.
Okay, because Nancy Pelosi, I think, is the richest bigwig.
Hey, she beats the stock market all the time.
How would she know?
What's that? Do you guys? There's an app out there that you can download.
Yeah,
you put your own. You put like 500.
Their trades.
You put at least $500 in. You have to put a minimum, and you pick what congressman or senator you want to follow. And if they make trades, it automatically does your money for you and trades whatever they trade and sells whatever they sell.
I would love to do that. That sounds exciting.
My friend has done it.
They're not going to lose money.
How's your friend doing?
He follows Nancy Pelosi. I think he made like $4,000 last year. He doesn't have to open it. It literally does everything for him.
All right, and then
he never loses.
The last name we'll mention on this list, according to my ChatGPT list of richest people in Kentucky, number 8, John Calipari.
John,
he would donate?
I don't know if he'll donate.
Get
Mitch
Barnhart.
Get him on the phone.
One more BBN United interview. One more BBN United interview. Baby, one more chance. Give me one more chance.
Mitch Barnhart just does the the South Park BP CEO video. Like,
we're sorry. We're sorry.
We're sorry.
All right. Obviously, we're probably not going to be able to get into those coffers until he retires from Arkansas. But we embrace him and we bring him back the day that he does.
Have they got that training facility put together yet from La Familia?
Not yet, but
I'm sure he's still working on it, though.
Man, that John Calipari, listed as one of the richest people in Kentucky, doesn't live in Kentucky, but supposedly on Nicholasville Road, you can still see him pushing his dog, the ghost of John Calipari pushing. What was the name of the little doggy?
Ah, man.
I think no longer with us.
Yeah, I know.
Tootsie?
I don't know.
Little Bitsy?
What was the name of it? Anyway, yeah, I'm going to his house for Selection Sundays was fun, and seeing the dogs running around.
What was the name of the German Shepherd that he had where he legitimately thought UK fans were weirdos, so he had to remind everybody, I've got a German Shepherd. He's really quick and nimble. He'll kill you. Forget the name of that dog, too. But he the first 2 years of the John Calipari era, he just tweeted that he had a German Shepherd and just, nobody come near him because his German Shepherd was going to get him. Let's get to the Gameday Men's Health Text line.
John Calipari is a dog and a stroller guy?
Well,
his dog was sick.
His dog was sick.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
You got something against sick dogs?
I have something against putting your dog in strollers.
McGruff and Palmer were the names of the dogs.
McGruff, yeah.
Yeah. The crime dog.
They would have a good time watching, the Alaskan cow would be like, sorry, I can't talk to you, media. I got to get back home to my doggies and my Alaskan TV show. Sorry, see you later. But those are the richest 8 people, according to this almost certainly wrong AI list that we presented for you today. A couple texts into the Gameday Men's Health text line. Palmer Calipari, says one texter. Another texter says, do Mormons believe in dogs?
That's a great
question. Do they believe in them?
Another texter says, Unusual Whales is the interesting Twitter account that follows all that stuff. And it is... just goes on in plain sight, and then it seems like every couple of years people will kick around term limits, and these old geezers will be like, "Come on, folks."
Do you want inexperienced people running the country?
You think we'll be giving up our power? No way, Jose. Well, I like this question. Any prediction on what Goose's Givens will be tonight? That's a great question. I love Goose's Givens. I'll go ahead and tell you one of them. 414 texter. Pass the ball. One of Goose's Givens. That's the pregame radio show with Goose and Leach. Oh, by the way, the Missouri play-by-play guy says he's going to throw a paper airplane at Tom Leach's head from the upper deck. So something to keep an eye on if you're at Rupp Arena at the under 16.
He said what? He said what?
He says he's going to throw a paper airplane at Tom Leach's head at the under 16 timeout from the upper deck. The visiting radio crew's way up in the nosebleeds.
Are they where the regular or where the media is put now, which is up in that little corner?
I think they give
I'm gonna
them.
go try to find them.
I think they give them where the media used to be.
On the other side.
On the lawn.
Yeah.
Which
That's,
actually is
okay.
not a bad seat.
No, that's where I sit on the opposite side of them, I think.
You still get the lodge?
Yeah, they let the photographers stand there, the overflow photog.
Oh, so you don't get a seat?
No, there's a seat there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
don't really stay there very much. I roam around the arena most of the
Sometimes
game.
Brett Dawson would be like, do you want to sit on the floor for the game? And I'd almost always say yes because I didn't get a chance to sit on the floor at Rupp Arena. That was back when they had floor seating for media.
Right.
I don't think they do that anymore.
They do not.
I got to do it for a UK U of L game, the Damian Lee game that he missed that 3 at the buzzer. But I honestly preferred the vantage point of the lodge seatings on the second level.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there really wasn't a better seat at Rupp Arena.
The only thing you missed the conversations and stuff happening down
That's
the floor.
true.
Like when for a lot of road games, they'll put me like right next to the Kentucky bench. Like at Tennessee, I have always been literally like I'm sitting on the bench, and so I get a lot of information that way. At Kentucky, there's no way of doing it. I mean, they put the media way up into the top corner now. Bring binoculars if you're covering a Kentucky basketball game.
Yeah, and it's so disappointing.
Do we get a YouTube link in the? Oh, you can click on links. Oh, Scruff McGruff, the crime dog.
You want to play Scruff McGruff, the crime dog?
We got a tweet. I didn't know that our text. I didn't know in the Game Day Men's Health text line you can send links. I'm gonna send links to people.
Another texter
That
says,
doesn't sound good.
Mitch and Nancy just need to teach us all how to invest in the stock market. That's what it is.
Yeah,
They're just great at it, you know?
I don't know why
no inside info or
haven't-
anything shady.
and they don't even have a YouTube channel. Like you would think, like, don't those guys usually have a YouTube channel, a TikTok account, or something
Yeah.
to give out their advice and what they're investing in?
Guys, let me teach you about drop shipping.
I love this tweet or this text into the Game Day Men's Health text line. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar on Gustavson.
I love it.
A family friend says Mitch McConnell's wife, Elaine Chow, inherited. That's where they got their money. Her Chinese shipping magnate family. Oh, so Mitch McConnell gets his money from insider trading and from China.
Nice. Good for Mitch, man. He deserves it.
He's got our best interests in mind, that's for sure. Another texter on the Game Day Men's Health text line. Oh, it's our buddy Local John. He says, John here. I'm glad the Cats are back in action. We shall win this game tonight. By gosh, KRC crew, we need to. If we don't, the BBN world will be on fire in a negative way. I've got the Cats winning a big one tonight. Well, you all have a great day. I will be calling into the post-game show after the game, and I cannot wait. We'll got to go talk to you later. I'm just happy to be back in the actual studio at ESPN 680.
I did like the show, though. You all did a good job, and getting into the call, I felt like it was kind of it was a process, but y'all still had people call in, so that just shows the dedication that your listeners have.
They had to work for it. You're right, and thank you. I was very appreciative for the people that did jump through some hoops to get in, but it was a good show to have an uncensored show, right?
It really
not have
was.
to worry about any radio. Tonight is going to be an interesting one. I think if we win, probably not a lot of callers, probably just like, all right, you did what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
If we lose, it'll debatably maybe be the most electric postgame, because I do think the next bad loss will be the one that is just the tipping point, if we're not already there.
What do you mean by that? Just as far as the fans turning
I
on
think
this coaching staff?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Where it's just all right, the season is over, and now I don't know if Pope at all is the guy. And some people are already there for what it's worth. But if you get one at home, you get one that happens at Rupp Arena, and I hope it's not the case tonight.
Look at this. Okay, the 20 ESPN on their website does. You pull up the Kentucky page and it shows the 2025-2026 team leaders. Zach Toe.
Wow,
making he's 100%. He's hit a 3-pointer in whatever game that was. I don't know. I thought that was interesting. But
That's incredible.
But you're right. And
put him out there.
I am not at all. I'm not really close yet to saying that the Mark Pope era won't work out. The thing that has worried me way more than results this season, although that is concerning, because when you go through the losses, there's not a bad loss yet. I don't really know what their worst loss has been since he's been there. Maybe Ohio State when they lost by 20 and they didn't really have very many injuries up in New York City. but he showed me last year that he has the coaching chops. He's calling out Cooper Flagg doing the spin move. He's pushing all the right buttons last year. Put together a Final Four caliber team at the last second. This year, the roster construction sucked. The game planning has not been good, and he's not recruiting well for next year. It's the recruiting for next year that is worrying me. Jack Pilgrim said this on Sources Say last night. He said, "Okay, look, if you just can't swim in these waters, going after these kind of recruits, the Tyron Stokes and Collins and all the other big players that you're whiffing on, okay, fine, that's fine. Just say that. Just say that's not what we do. We're gonna have to build through the portal, and every once in a while, a Collins Chandler or a Richie Saunders might show up, and you can get those guys, and every few years." And that's fine. Last year's team was really, really good, and they didn't have any star freshmen. So I'm not ready yet, and I don't know. It'll take some really bad losses for me to get to the point where I'm willing to say that Mark Pope can't do this, because I saw it last year. So, but I don't know, man. I know where the fan base is at. I know that do you think it's past 50% at this point that would disagree with me on that statement?
Say it again.
That I am not anywhere close to saying that Mark Pope can't do this. Would you say over 50% would disagree with me?
I don't know.
Not anywhere close, I would say above 50%.
Okay.
Now, if you were to say that, like, I can see the argument, but I'm not just there yet, then I would say that most people will agree with you. But to say not anywhere close,
well, I guess
you're guaranteed Mark Pope is still the guy right now, I'd say more than 50%.
Well, I don't. I guess I should say I have doubts, but I'm not to the point where I'm considering he should be fired at the end of the season. Now, the games will have to play out, and we'll have to see. Now, I've said that if you don't make the tournament, then we need to examine things. What is the plan for next year? Who do you have coming in? By the next signing period, are you going to have somebody that we can believe that this is going to work?
Well, there's something that I've learned in this football, and the final segment's probably going to be a little bit more football than basketball, but this is a good segue. There's something I've learned in this transfer portal cycle with football that I think is relevant to all sports, and certainly relevant to Mark Pope. And I will tell you that little nugget of information.
Nice. Good.
That's a radio tease, baby. I'll tell you what I mean by that. And I do think it's super fascinating. I'm curious what you have to say about it, and producer Matt, and the text line as well. And we'll get to some text. We'll make our predictions for the Cats Mizzou and update you on what Will Steintime's doing in the portal. This is Kentucky Roll Call. One final segment coming up next. Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio. Get your text into the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. And I know a lot of people have been just dying to see Kentucky Roll Call out on the road. You'll get that chance on Friday. We will be at the Louisville Home and Garden Show at the Kentucky Expo Center. They will be out there from January 9th through the 11th, but we are going to be at the Window Worlds booth. So come out and see us at the Window Worlds booth, January 9th, 2 days from today, 12 to noon. Louisville Home and Garden Show, Kentucky Expo Center. Should be a good time. I wonder if they'll give us any homes or gardens.
Do we know where we're going to be? Which part of it we're going to be in?
I told you, 11:45 on Friday. We'll find out.
Right,
I have no idea where we're going to be. Good idea to double check though, and to keep an eye on it for sure. All right, the thing that I teased regarding Mark Pope in the transfer portal and his future at UK, and if this thing continues to go south, and if they were to miss the tournament, I think I said 96% convinced yesterday. I'll bump that up probably to 98 that he'll be back for a third season. And I think for like the most part, I'm all right with that. If it gets really, really, really ugly, I mean, whether I'm all right with it or not all right with it, I can come to grips and accept it, I guess, would be a better way to say it.
Yes.
And it would be true that you may have like one good season, one bad season. Let's see the tiebreaker in year 3. I wouldn't love, if I was AD, I'd probably handle it a little differently. Obviously, I'm not. But one thing I've learned in the Will Stein era, new coaches are fun, dude. They're expensive. They may not be the best thing for you, but we have no business having as much fun as we are with UK football right now. No business. It was a miserable season. The last time we got to see UK on the field, their rival just skunked us 41-0. But I want to talk trash to U of L fans, and I feel like I can.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the football ride as much as I have. And guess what? If they didn't fire Mark Stoops, if Mitch Barnhart didn't fire Mark Stoops, we'd be having zero fun.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be a nightmare.
It'd be
terrible.
I mean, think about how the mood of the fan base would be right now, the way basketball's going,
man.
and then you're trying to build a football team that you're like, can we get to 6 wins again? And granted, it's not even about the wins and losses going into next season, because I don't know. We'll find out maybe a little bit more as they put this, piece this team together, and we can say, well, maybe they can win 7 games. Maybe they can win 6. But this was going to be the toughest SEC schedule. If we were going into this with Mark Stoops, man, it would just be so, it'd be miserable. You would not be looking forward to the football season. At least now, I'm excited for September to get here. And really, I mean, the mood of the fan base would just be so low if we were having to ride another Mark Stoops season out.
And I'm 98% sure that Mark Pope would be back, but let's just say this team did miss the tournament, and it was a complete disaster. Could we get excited about the team Mark Pope put together for the following season? Yes, we could. We could.
We would be very skeptical.
We would be skeptical, and it'd be a little toxic, and people would be smartasses, and then the first time they slipped up, the fan base would probably be a little torn, and we'd almost default back to the John Calipari era to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Where, again, I'm getting way ahead of my skis here. It ain't happening, but this is Sports Talk Radio, so we can have a little fun with it. If they miss the tournament, and you get a new AD in, and he says, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and get a new head coach, we're back to having fun just like that again. In this new era of nil in the transfer portal where there's no loyalty to anything like this, Kentucky basketball probably should take an NBA head coach approach to the program. All right, 2 years here, you couldn't get it done. We thank you for your effort. See ya. We're bringing somebody else in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 3 years here. It's been okay. Well, you did some good things. We really like you. But sorry, this is Kentucky. We just need fresh blood. I would take that approach. Now, had good luck trying to hire somebody. Okay, we're going to sign you for a 3-year deal, and you'll be making $11 million a year. And you feel, but if I get fired, well, then you'll have $33 million. You think you can live off $33 million if you never got another job the rest of your life? I hope so.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned an NBA approach. Hey, Matt, you follow Premier League. I mean, how often do they fire coaches? I mean, I look Manchester United. I kind of equate them to like the Kentucky basketball of the Premier League. And since Alex Ferguson, they're the coach who had the most success there, he left in 2013. They've had 11 coaches since 2013. I mean, Matt, you followed that stuff. I mean, it's not crazy that they have the kind of coach to have coaching turnover like this if you don't get results.
No, it's not. I mean, I'm a Tottenham fan. You're a Tottenham fan. They're going through the same thing right now where Ange Postecoglou last season brought them their first ever trophy
in decades.
In 25 years, their first trophy in 25 years. Fired him in the offseason because he placed 17th in the Premier League.
Yep.
Hired Thomas Frank. He's right now, I think, 18th. They're about to fire him right now. They're about to get rid of him. They're like, dude, this isn't working out. We're done. But
there's no patience because of relegation. I understand that. But if you're trying to be a blue blood program, well, there is a little bit of urgency because you can start to slip and it can free fall.
It's one of those things where these are obviously like the NBA and professional tours are different. Like that's a lot more money. Like soccer teams have Saudi money all over the place.
Yeah.
Like they can do whatever they want whenever they want, right? But you're not wrong to think that, with the really big programs like Kentucky basketball, that they should have the money to say, hey, look, this is just not good enough. Like maybe instead of dipping so much in NIL, we need to start focusing on the coaching aspect. And I know the NIL is important, but I mean, how long can you last where it's Kentucky gains is one of the only schools in the country that like TJ you said yesterday actually makes a profit on basketball. So you almost can't afford, just like football, like you really couldn't afford to keep Mark Stoops, you couldn't afford to pay him out. If basketball, you definitely can't afford to keep a guy like Mark Pope around if this continues to happen. So I mean, it's an interesting take. I don't know how possible it is with college sports, because I'd say within the next 10 years you could see it happen.
Well, now I think even more than ever because you're not inheriting a roster. You're able to go out and build a team with your own guys right away. And, you can.
That's where we're going.
It changes overnight. In college basketball, really, I would say college basketball more than any because you can get a couple of couple great players and boom, you're in the running for a Final Four. I mean, it can happen that fast.
The saying in basketball is 3 can carry 2. You can have 3 good players that can carry the rest of the 2 starters. I think if you get the top of the top, 2 can carry 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
Assuming that they're not bums, and I don't think at UK you should only be. We got 2 great players, and that's all we've got. I'd take 2 great shooters on this team, on this UK team this year, but it'll be something interesting to monitor for sure. All right, I do want to bring up the transfer portal for UK. Some recent additions since we last spoke yesterday. Obviously, Kenny Minchie was a huge get, and we talked with Adam Luckett. Go back and listen to yesterday's podcast if you didn't hear that. I think we mentioned Max Anderson yesterday and Javonte Barnes, the running back from Oklahoma. But late last night, Jamarian Harkless from Purdue. It's a familiar name. He's a Lexingtonian. And then Elias Alinen from Alabama, the offensive lineman.
Yeah, I was struggling with that name as well.
Xavier Daisy, the wide receiver from UAB. Jordan Castell, the safety from Florida. And did I mention the other defensive back? Aaron Gates yesterday from Florida. So 2 defensive backs from Florida, 1 a quarterback, and 1 a safety. And I love it. Jordan Castell, I think he's the guy that Roush mentioned earlier in the week. He has started every game for Florida, just about every game for Florida. Super experienced piece there. You're looking at the big blue wall. You now have Colton Price from Baylor, who is not an SEC player, but he is the number 1 center in the transfer portal. And then you get Max Anderson from Tennessee and the fellow from Alabama, who both obviously have SEC experience. I like the way it's coming together, Stephen Peak, and they are not done. Far from it, as a matter of fact. By the way, Sam Levitt, he's visiting Tennessee now, so it just makes Will Stein look even smarter to just say, all right, I appreciate it.
Can't wait around.
And it almost seemed like maybe Levitt himself was cool with UK and Stein. Based on some things I've heard, they really did hit it off. But people are kind of waiting for that Oregon opening. And by the way, Alabama's got a quarterback opening now as well.
Ty Simpson going
to It may have
NFL.
been smart for Stein to say, let me get some Kenny Minchie. By the way, heard John Hale say over on 790 this morning, he said that if Liam Cohen, in his opinion, if Liam Cohen was to pick a quarterback from this transfer portal class, he would pick Kenny Minchie. How he knows that or where he got that from, I don't know, but I was like, cool with me. If Liam Cohen likes this dude as a quarterback, Will Stein likes this dude as a quarterback, then Kenny Minchie probably does have the chops. And then also John Hale brought up Willie Rodriguez, which made me bring up Willie Rodriguez. Get that guy back.
Yeah, I would like to have him back.
He's not in the portal, but it also hasn't been announced like a new deal or he's committed to play for Stein. He'll be returning, but he's not in the portal, so that's a positive. But you got to get things straight with Willie Rodriguez. Ty Bryant's back. Who else?
That's a good one.
There's a couple other ones. Cam Miller left. I'm not crazy about that, but I really don't concern myself with wide receivers and Will Stein's offense. However, I wonder if this will be a situation he looks around a little bit and maybe decides the best thing for him is coming back.
I mean, is that I would assume, just from how he performed last year, that Will would want him to come back. But yeah, I mean that's part of this too. Is like how many players does Will want to bring back from a team that went 5-7 last year and only had the win over Auburn and Florida really wasn't that. They weren't that impressive, so that's part of it too. But is he the busy? He has to be like the busiest guy in college football right now. How would you feel if you were an Oregon fan and your offensive coordinator is having to put together a team for his new school while also preparing for the best team in the country and a chance to play for the national championship?
It'd be wild. It'd be a wild time.
Because I feel like he might get blamed for the loss, like Kentucky.
No. Well, he has been a scapegoat for Oregon in the past, but that's offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, right? Depending on how the game goes, that's an easy scapegoat there. I have heard a couple Kentucky fans be like, "This is BS. He needs to be all in on the Cats, and he's hurting ourselves." Listen, if I looked at the transfer portal and I wasn't liking what I was seeing, I may default to that. Seems like the dude's working his ass off.
Sure. Yeah.
And also,
does he sleep? Like,
I don't think Will Stein would be like, you know what, like. Who cares about year one at UK? I need to finish the job here. I'm sure he is totally committed to Oregon and their national championship hopes, but I promise you his top priority is Kentucky.
Well, do you think that him winning a national title at Oregon helps his future at Kentucky?
Yes.
I think it does.
Absolutely. And I do think a UK fan I had a back and forth with, he was just saying, like, this wouldn't happen at other major programs. It's not happening at other major programs.
Well, it was going to.
I would rather have a Will Stein situation than a Lane Kiffin situation.
Well, it's going to say, like, Lane Kiffin wanted to coach the playoffs for Ole Miss, right? Ole Miss just didn't let him, so it sounded like LSU was going to allow Lane to do that, correct?
Yeah, it's kind of he said, she said.
Okay.
There's some that said that LSU wasn't going to allow it either, but I think you're right. I think that based on who I trust the most, that Ole Miss was the one who said either you're staying here and you're coaching, but if you leave, you're done. Almost as like an ultimatum. Like you're not going to get your cake and eat it too. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably ultimately what's true. However, I think it's commendable. Hey, I made a commitment to these guys. I'm going to see it through. We're competing for a title. And if any situation where I'm at Kentucky or in the playoffs and I get hired by Alabama or something like that, I'll do the same thing here. I think it's commendable. I really do. I don't think Kentucky's hurting because of it. And if they were, I would say as much. But I like what they're doing so far.
Did you know where that phrase, you know what that means? Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too? I learned this like 2 weeks ago.
The French Revolution?
No, it was like you can't. Well, that would be a good guess. You can't have it and eat it too, because if you eat it, you no longer have it.
Oh yeah, it's true.
I never thought of that. Now it makes perfect sense. Anyway,
but if you ate it, then like you had it.
You had it, but you don't have it now.
But yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Okay,
fair enough.
It could be about anything, really.
Yeah. By the way, any transfer portal comments from you, producer Matt?
Not really.
You like what the big dog's doing? I do like that tight end commit you all got from Tulsa. That's a big deal, I think. I don't know if Braum has had a great tight end at U of L.
The thing is, now we gotta have 4. So we got the dude from Tulsa, we got the dude from Tulane, and then we also have Jalil Skinner coming back, and then we also have Julius Miles coming in as a freshman. He probably redshirt, but he probably won't play. But I mean, we got no wide receiver core, but then we got 4 tight ends. We're either gonna set up for Isaac Brown to have basically an 11-man offensive line, or Jeff Brom's finally going to use some tight ends, which would excite me a little bit.
Yeah. Both teams, I think. U of L fans excited about what they're doing in the portal. Kentucky fans obviously over the moon, excited what they're doing in the portal. So is it possible at one point next year both of Kentucky and Louisville could be in the top 25?
Could be.
I don't think it's impossible.
When's the last time that Kentucky and Louisville were both like good and played each other when they were both having good seasons.
Has it ever happened?
I don't know.
The Ray Davis year,
That was the closest one.
Kentucky was not. I mean,
They weren't
Kentucky
bad.
was solid. Yeah.
They came off that loss to South Carolina. They could have been playing for an 8-4 season in that game. Yeah, that's probably the closest. 2007, they both had high expectations. Louisville just kind of fell apart after that loss to Kentucky, and maybe they just weren't really that good. Kind of sucked. Brian Brown was throwing for like 500 yards a game, and they finished 6-5.
Yeah, I think they ended up not going to a bowl
They
game.
did not.
Jacob Callaway will be back at Kentucky.
All right.
I like that.
Only what was the stats again? You said 13 of 17?
13 of 17, but 3 of those 4 misses were from 50 yards plus. So only
He did miss the one against Georgia. That was an extra point. I don't know how you missed that one, but
Yeah.
I mean, like, hey, I've been on this show before. I was doing this every day, talking about kickers and how important they are.
Yeah, Callaway, you got to have a solid kicker. He does it for me. He'll get better too, you'd like to think, and for the most part, super consistent from makeable college football range.
Yeah.
Outside of 50, you do want a kicker that's going to be able to knock down 50-yarders. That's a huge luxury. You'd like to think that Callaway will get there. So I like hearing that news, and Will Stein's got his kicker.
I mean,
From Billings, Montana.
kickers it could come down to your job as a head coach, as we learned this past Sunday. It was either going to be Harbaugh or Tomlin based on where that kick went.
That meme was great.
Did you saw that?
Totally true. Yeah, it was the field goal of the Steelers-Ravens. And if it had gone in, if the Ravens had won, then Mike Tomlin was going to be fired. But if it went left or right, then Harbaugh was going to be fired. And that's what happened yesterday after 18 years in Baltimore. Do you all think that was the right decision?
I don't know. I feel like he has been very unlucky.
Yeah.
How their seasons have ended. It comes down to guys making plays and not making plays, and just because they're right there in positions to win it. Fumbles, missed field goals. It's just crazy too. Like if Justin Tucker just didn't screw up, then he's probably not fired.
Yeah.
It's so weird. The butterfly effect is wild.
A wise man once said it's time for a new voice. And I'd say in Baltimore, after 18 years, it's probably time for a new voice.
The Dolphins will take you.
In Pittsburgh, I've heard the Dolphins.
They're going to bring him back, man.
No.
I've heard that they're thinking about bringing him back for another year. Basically saying like these injuries have piled up and it's been unlucky and it's all right. But at a certain point, have we seen enough?
I mean, what's his record against opponents above 500?
Who's that?
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel. It's not good. It's not good because even the year that they were doing really well back in, like, what was that, 22, 23, I think the only good win they had was they barely beat the Dallas Cowboys on Christmas Eve or whenever that game was.
The Packers only title.
It says he is 3-14.
Yikes.
That's not good.
Wow.
My buddy, a big NFL guy, he says that the Dolphins are sniffing around Harbaugh.
Well, they should. They should.
You'd like that?
Yeah, I would take them. Absolutely. Why wouldn't I?
I feel like any team that's thinking of shopping a head coach is calling Harbaugh right now.
Could I interest you in a Matt LaFleur?
Dude, I mean, I haven't seen a playoff win since I've been a fan. I became a fan in 2002, and I have not seen a playoff win. So, yeah, sure, why not?
Could I interest you in a Pete Carroll? I'm just trying to see where you're going to say no.
You could. You actually could.
Could I interest you in a Mike McCarthy?
You would take Pete Carroll?
Yeah, Pete Carroll. He's won games. I want
old man dinosaur Carroll.
We had Dan Campbell and let him go, and then he ended up being all right. How'd he do this year? How's Dan Campbell doing this year? Not as good, but
yeah, Dan Campbell. I still think is the man though.
You might be able to point to. I liked Mike McDaniel. I liked the way things were going. I loved the offense, and it felt like teams kind of figured him out. And so I don't know. Does he have another? It's so frustrating. The whole sport of football for me this year has just been so sad.
I hear you.
I needed off season to get me fired up again. So yeah, maybe a coaching change there will get me locked back into Dolphins football.
I'll be joining you if the Packers lose to the Bears on Saturday. All right, we'll do more NFL preview and predictions and bets and stuff like that tomorrow and Friday. College football playoffs. Really, we've made it, folks. I know it's only Wednesday. I'm not telling you to count your chickens of the weekend before, but we got the Cats tonight and the Bud Light Kentucky postgame show, which is sometimes even more entertaining than Kentucky basketball. Tomorrow, college football playoff 1. Friday, college football playoff 2. Saturday, NFL. Sunday, NFL. Monday, NFL. We've done it, folks. exciting stuff. Really exciting stuff. So what are we thinking tonight? I predicted 9 made threes for UK. I think the Cats beat Missouri. I'll say Missouri covers. I'll go 82-70, so a narrow cover for the Tigers. I think it's not an overly inspiring game, Pete. There are times we think Kentucky should blow it open. They're unable to do it. And there's times where it looks like Missouri's able to go on a run, or about to go on a run, but they're never able. Yeah, I'll say a buffer zone game. I'll say it's probably going to be anywhere from like a 7 to 14 point buffer zone game, and the Cats get the win.
That's actually exactly where I was at. Kentucky kind of keeps it at 3 possessions the whole time.
Yep.
You never really feel like they're going to lose, but ultimately you don't come away feeling like, okay, they got it figured out. But I'm hoping. The optimistic side of me is hoping that at the end of this 3-game stretch, Kentucky's piled up not just 3 wins, but has finally shown, okay, shots went in, the offense has opened up a little bit, and we start to feel a little bit better going into that Tennessee game.
What do you think is going to happen tonight at Rupp Arena, producer Matt?
Not at Rupp Arena, but from his house, I think Pat Kelsey's going to be writing down Missouri's zone defense and trying to learn how to run one.
Okay. All right. There you have it. Get to a couple more texts. Patrick Murphy says, why was Peak banned from Auburn? Also looking better on the stream today. He supposedly was fighting fans and cussing and stuff, but that was turned out to not be true. And he's been back since. So
to football.
No, that's true.
We'll see about basketball.
South End Josh here. While William has been getting some good stuff in the portal, the lack of a proven wide receiver and running back is becoming concerning. It's cool we have a decent quarterback, but who on earth is he going to throw the ball to? Just think DeAndre Moore and C.J. Baxter would be locked in already if our coach was locked in here full time instead of treating us like his side chick.
There you go. You talked about this.
Just such a dumb opinion, South End Josh, because he doesn't have everybody committed right now. It means that he's too occupied with Oregon. So in your little dino brain, you think that he has to have everybody committed by January 7th, otherwise he's too invested elsewhere? Come on, South End Josh, you're better than that. Jay Billis is a slur, says one texter. Let's get down to brass tacks here. For a state with a huge basketball tradition, neither one of the 2 major teams in the state have done anything of merit for a decade. And you can argue 2017 UK, but everything else has been meh. Got to get better together.
Yeah, Kentucky.
Okay, all right, Andy Bashir.
Kentucky hasn't won a. That's funny. Kentucky hasn't won a trophy in any big trophy since 2020 when they won the SEC championship, SEC regular season. Louisville. When's the last time they won anything?
Nothing.
They haven't won like a conference championship. They haven't won the ACC yet. So.
No, nothing. I mean, it's nothing since 13. 14, they won the AAC.
Okay, they won the AAC in 14?
Did they win the AAC in 15? Were you already in the ACC by then?
I think they did win the – I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 years they were in. Let me find it.
AAC in 14 y'all won because y'all waxed UConn like 16 times that year. Mostly joking when I say this, but I feel like Mark Pope is talking down to me when he says analytics contradict what we can clearly see on the floor. Oh, that's so rich, Texter, and probably so true. When everybody was saying that John Calipari was talking down to us, but then Mark Pope can just gaslight us like he's going out of style, but nobody really gets too worked up about it besides me. The way Pope talks about low starting, we got that one yesterday. TJ is the furthest thing from a sunshine pumper, usually more pessimistic than me. I just don't see how this Kentucky team blows out anybody with a pulse. I have never bet against Kentucky until today. I took Missouri to cover. Ryan from Freedom Hall. Ryan, love you, buddy. I don't love that bet, though. I did take Missouri to cover, too, so I guess I'm with you. However, I think Kentucky is going to be a candidate to blow them out. All right, we're out of time. Sorry.